All righty. Welcome back, guys. Today I am joined by our fellow man here, Dante, and we are going to get right into a redraft PPR one quarterback league today. We're going to have some interesting spots here. We're joined by Kyle as well, who could not make it on camera today, but will be drafting out of the 2 spot. We have Dante at the 6 spot and myself at the 9 spot. So we're switching it up here. We're going 2 running backs, 3 receivers, 1 tight end. We're keeping defenses and kickers out of it. None of that boring stuff here. We're getting right down to the basics here. Dante, glad you're with us today. You ready to get going here?
Absolutely glad to be here. I think you're gonna like my draft strategy this time around. It should be
Okay.
different than what I usually do. So I'm excited
Hey,
to see how my team ends up.
definitely. This is the best time to switch stuff up too, just to see what we got going. Try out new things. So let's get it going, man. Let's kick it off. Kyle's gonna have this number 2 pick here. Let's see what's happening. McCaffrey starts it off. All right. Kyle's got a pretty easy pick here. I feel like the 1 and 2 this year really is not
Yeah,
even a big
Jonathan Taylor
yeah.
could have guessed he was gonna go. So that leaves me. I am actually gonna start with a tight end, and I'm gonna draft Travis
Mm,
Kelsey.
I like that. Okay.
I think
Switching it
tight
up here.
end. I think tight end is really scarce, especially this upcoming year, especially after Darren Waller, and even we don't know where he's going to be by the end of the season. So I'd rather just get that out of the way and yeah, just focus on other. I don't have to worry about tight ends.
Yeah, that's such a great pick this year. Him and Andrews, obviously everybody kind of has their own preference on the two, but they newly both became the number 1 options on their team due to losing the number 1 receiver on both of their teams. And they both got some good quarterbacks that love throwing to the tight end. So that's a beautiful way to start the draft. And I'm actually going to take a similar route, and I'm going to go receiver with Justin Jefferson here. So we're both having some interesting starts here, ignoring the running backs in the first round to possibly come out of the first round with the best tight end on the board and the best receiver on the board. Possibility for both there. So beautiful pick. I have the turnaround here, and I am a big running back guy. I don't really like leaving these early rounds without a running back. I think right around here as well on this turnaround is big Mark Andrews territory as well, especially if Kelsey's going that early. You may even see Andrews go right behind Kelsey if that ever happens in your redraft leagues. But right here, I have an interesting choice here. Um, I got a few guys on my list, but I'm going to end up going with Aaron Jones here. I think out of the running backs on the board there, which I will pop up in a second here. You had Nick Chubb, you had Javante, you had Leonard Fournette, Barkley, kind of all running backs besides Fournette and Javante on shaky teams. I'm not a huge fan of Nick Chubb this year with that team. You don't really know what's going on yet. So a lot of stuff there. I feel like Aaron Jones was the safest pick. And now Dante on the clock, man. What are we looking at here?
So I'm actually you talked about Mark Andrews, and I keep talking about how scarce the position is. I'm gonna use 2 tight ends, put one in my flex,
Dude,
and
love it.
Mark Andrews, we're rocking with it just for those reasons alone. Lamar doesn't really have any options outside of Mark Andrews, so he's just going to get the targets when he's not running the ball, and I just feel comfortable having that trade piece too. If a team down the line needs a tight end, we could probably flip that for something better. So it's a
Yeah,
win-win.
that is such an underrated strategy, man. I've actually seen someone do that in a redraft league and made the Super Bowl with that. And you made a good point too. You have 2 tight ends now. If you needed to trade one, you could just get an RB1, So that's
Mm.
that's beautiful. And now you got your next pick right here. Let's see
Kyle
here.
looks like he went with Mike Evans and Debo. Not bad wide receiver duo to pair with Jay Taylor. So we're gonna rock with
Beautiful.
Leonard Fournette. I really,
Wow.
really, really am high on Leonard Fournette this season, especially with Brady coming back and with Chris Godwin sitting out for a majority of the year. Um, I think the upside in terms of catching the ball is going to be way higher compared to last year because he didn't in the beginning of the season. It didn't seem like Brady was going to throw him the ball that much, and Leonard Fournette was dropping it, to be honest. But
Right.
towards the end of the season, they tend to click with that. So I'm expecting that throughout this season as well.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, with Brady coming back, it's just guaranteed that he's going to see a ton of dump downs again this year. Huge PPR season upcoming for him. So yeah, I love that start there. You got to get that running back. I feel like if you're going to go the double tight end route early, I think that's perfect there. So yeah, I'm going to actually switch it up, and I'm going to go a little Justin Herbert here in the third round.
Mm.
Um, I want to get that quarterback. This is a guy I potentially believe could be the number one on the year. And I didn't want to wait any longer because, as you see, Mahomes just went a few picks after me there. So I wanted to snag that top guy. Obviously, you see Josh Allen went a little bit earlier as well. But obviously, in a one quarterback league, you could wait just a little bit longer than normal. So now I got another pick here. I got my top notch receiver. I got my RB1. I have my quarterback one. Here's where the depth kicks in. I think I'm going to lean back to running backs here. I like a few on the board right now. I have a few options, but the one that is catching my eye is Travis Etienne.
You, mm,
I think
that hurts.
we talked about this in the last draft as well.
That
We're
hurts.
both very, very high on ETN this year. His PPR production, we think, is just going to be through the roof with that team. So I think that's a huge PPR sleeper in the fourth round there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. That's why I was going to take him. Is it me? It's me. All right. Let's see. God, I should go wide receiver here because I don't have one, and there are some good ones. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go Lamar. I like having
Oh,
Lamar for that rushing. Just another running back that also can play quarterback. Obviously, he's a quarterback first, but
yep.
just having those rushing yards is instrumental, especially when I'm not taking a running back for the first two rounds. So I'm going to go with Lamar. And it looks like Kyle went with Michael Pittman, his guy, of course. Just got into his YouTube channel. Actually, it's pretty funny. I never
Yeah,
knew he was.
yeah.
I didn't know he was a vlogger like that.
Yeah, yeah. I believe he started that his first year, rookie year in the league. And it was pretty interesting. I believe he does it with his girlfriend or wife at this point.
No,
He's a pretty cool guy and interesting. Wow, Kyle goes four receivers there, but look at that receiving core, man.
yeah, it's nasty.
That is a
That's
very, very
nasty.
good looking receiving core there. Uh, yeah, wow.
And then
He's going with the hero running back strategy for sure. So Dante, what do we got now? You got the stack here. You got your RB1. You got both of your tight end ones that can easily be just replace your RB1 or wide receiver one. What are you looking at here?
see the running back situation is getting woeful now, to be honest with you, because like Damian Harris, who was solid last year. I mean, if at this rate, if I get over 10 points a game with any of these players, I'm excited. With the exception of Clyde, I would expect Clyde Edwards-Helaire to do that. So um, tough, man. How much time do I have? A minute.
Got
You
some
know what?
time here.
I'm gonna go Judy. I'm gonna get some of that offense, that Broncos offense, led with my guy. And I think Judy, with Russ at the helm, I think Judy's gonna have a major upswing this year in terms of his productivity. So
Yeah, and even the ADPs right now, if you're looking at it, you got Judy and Cortland Sutton right next to each other. That's going to be so interesting.
yeah,
Obviously, you got two different types of receivers in terms of their route tree and what they could do. But like you had mentioned, brand new QB, brand new system. Let's see what's going on over there. But very interesting to see their ADP so close. All right. And now I am on the clock again. Most likely I'm looking receiver here. I only have my one. And the name that pops up to me the most is Allen Robinson. I think this is a huge value later in drafts. We had mentioned in the last time we talked about what Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods used to be and how Robert Woods was finishing neck and neck with Cooper Kupp every single year. And then obviously last year he goes down and Cooper Kupp has a season of his life. So I believe Robinson can easily fill that fantasy role as well as exceed what Robert Woods did as the number 2 there. So Robinson's got a lot of upside there. And now I'm sitting here with 2 RBs, 2 receivers, and a QB. At this point, I would be looking for a tight end. I think I could wait a little bit here. I don't think there's any need to rush on any of the tight ends available at the moment. So I'm actually going to swing back and take the pick that you had mentioned, Damian Harris here. Just get that extra running back, Beautiful
awesome.
offense. I'm robbing you here, Dante.
That's just perfect.
But nah, great pick, and that's a guy that, like you had mentioned, is going in that 5th round. So to see him there, that's kind of a value you don't want to pass on.
The offense is just underrated too. If you just want a running back, because that's how that's their offense is ground and pound and defense. So you're just you're naturally gonna get those goal line touches and all that with Damian Harris.
Exactly. Yep.
And that leaves me. So I could go with the handcuff here and screw you over, but I'm gonna go Kareem Hunt, man. I like Kareem, especially in PPR. That it's going to be interesting with that quarterback situation. I don't know what's going to happen there, but if everything goes as planned, I guess I would imagine that passing work is just going to amplify with Deshaun Watson in the backfield as compared to Baker Mayfield. Simply because they're just going to trust Deshaun Watson with the ball more. So I expect Kareem to have probably the same year he had last year, which was very good for where I'm getting him now. So,
right, yeah, exactly. And real quick, looking at Kyle's team, he took Jalen Hurts without even thinking about it. I don't know if you were watching the screen there. His pick came and it was gone. So Jalen Hurts, man, Kyle has had Jalen Hurts. I believe in many leagues as of last year. He's a big Jalen Hurts guy, and you know what? So am I. I'd be a bigger Jalen Hurts guy if he wasn't an Eagle, but you're talking about the most consistent fantasy quarterback as of last year. So that's another great value pick there, just to top off Kyle's hero running back strategy here. And then he goes Cordell Patterson, which is another great running back to have coming off the bench here. I'd assume Kyle's probably looking running backs from here on out to stack some here, but very interesting. And right back to you, man. You got your PPR running back as your RB2. We looking receiver here, Dante?
I'm looking receiver, correct. And I'm going to go with my guy, Hunter Renfrow, man. I really think Hunter Renfrow is like my sleeper for – I think he could potentially have the upside that Cooper Kupp had last year. That's how high I think Hunter Renfrow could potentially go under that offense. Of course, I don't expect him to have one of the best receiving seasons of all time, but the upside in terms of production and with Devontae Adams and Darren Waller taking so much of that defense, I would expect Hunter Renfrow to produce along the same lines as how Cooper Kupp did this previous season. So that's why I'm so high on Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, I mean that late in the draft is a great value. You saw what he was for fantasy teams last year, especially. He's got Devontae in the mix now, which, like you said, you have high hopes on him. Right now, the narrative is really you never know what's going on there until we see it on paper. But I mean, there's going to be fantasy points to be earned there, so it's going to come from someone, and why not Mr. Reliable underneath, So yeah, now I have another pick here. Let's see what I'm looking at here. I'm most likely going with another receiver here, and someone I really, really love this year is Adam Thielen. And I think with that revamped Minnesota offense, that's going to be some great fantasy production, such as the Raiders, where there's points to go around. And we're not really going to know who's going to be getting those points yet. Mainly, obviously, Adams and Justin Jefferson for their respective teams, but two of those guys, like you had just picked, that wide receiver two that could have wide receiver number one numbers. So
I like it.
let's.
You're just sticking with the Vikings wide receiver core, huh? You might as well
Did I
just get
just do
Kirk
that?
Cousins.
And I just did that. I absolutely did just do that. Wow, that is on me.
Might as well
Yeah,
get Kirk while you're at
yeah, right.
it.
Is Dalvin Cook
I
still
mean, it's not
available?
honestly at that point at that pick though. I mean, that's not bad. Adam Thielen was probably the best wide receiver on the board. It just happened. It just sucks you picked
Oh
Jarvis
yeah,
after
I
that one,
mean, wow. Actually, he just disappeared. I don't even know how that happened. He just disappeared.
but
Actually, it actually looks like Robert Woods went there. Oh wow.
wow.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a great pick, Robert Woods. All right. So yeah, I'd be in the driver's seat there. I was going wide receiver anyways there. Obviously, that's not who I intended to take, but yeah, three receivers, three running backs here. At this point, I really don't want to wait on a tight end anymore. So I'm going to take my flyer tight end this year. It's going to be Dawson Knox. I think he's got some upside. There's a lot of red flags on him this year in terms of what they're doing with the offense and that he was just relevant for a portion of the season last year, which is very true. But I'll take that upside. Obviously, I don't think it's going to get worse than what he did last year. I think it can only go up from here. So I'm loving that potential there.
And when after that, Tom Brady and Dak Prescott back to back. Okay, okay. Let me see what your team's looking like. Robert Woods, Damian Harris. Okay. I still think I got you beat, but we'll see. We'll see what the remaining rounds hold. And so far, and with my next pick, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Chase. I'm gonna go Chase here. I was gonna go Thielen because of the reasons that you so eloquently put before before something happened. There was a glitch. I don't know. Something weird happened before you didn't pick
Yeah,
him
that
or
was
anything
a
like that.
computer. I got to hit up IT about that. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
don't
what's
know.
going on
Sleepers
there.
Sleepers gotta get their shit together, but I don't know. Chase Claypool though, the deep he's literally like a deep threat option, and who knows what's gonna happen in the quarterback situation. But I think just for the upside alone that he can get you like 8 to 9 points in a play alone is a reason why to pick him up. Especially if you need a wide receiver at this point. And then it's me again. I'm gonna go with my genetic freak here, New York Giant, no eyebrows, Kadarius Toney, baby. We're going Kadarius Toney. That speed upside, no eyebrows, so he's got an extra half second off his 40. I'm riding with it. And he had that
Oh man.
huge blow up game. I forgot what game it was last season, but he had like a monster game when
Yes.
I picked him up. So I'm hoping with Daniel Jones, he's fresh. He dumped his girlfriend this off season, so he's been working. You know what I mean? The offensive line's working. Saquon's ready to go. I'm telling you, Kadarius Toney could have that, especially at this pick, at this round at least. I'm comfortable taking him.
So to clarify, did Daniel Jones break up with his girlfriend, or was that Tony?
Daniel Jones broke up with his girlfriend in the offseason.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
contract year for the man. He
That's
he
what I'm
ain't playing
saying.
around.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
He's
Okay.
going serious. He's going crazy. I'd argue taking him. I don't actually like picking him in the draft. To be honest with you, I don't know what round. I'm not going to say that, but
Right. 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 No, but
yeah.
that's interesting. I mean, and I'm looking at your and Kyle's drafts here. It looks like you guys had very similar ideas where Kyle went with his hero running back and then waited and then just took three in a row. And you kind of did the same. You got your wide receiver one in Kelsey and Andrews, just using that strategy. But then you went Judy, and then you just got three great wide receiver value picks late there. And I think you and Kyle did a great job. Like if you're going to draft that way, you got to hammer those picks in the later rounds. Keep yourself competitive, get some good value and some good depth. There is people there. You just got to know who you're taking, obviously. So yeah, that I love those picks there. I'm saying at 3-3 right here. I'm probably gonna go with another running back here. I really love Melvin Gordon. Um, I love the value that he's going to hold still. He's not going to be the number one guy there. Everybody knows that. But he's going to play that Kareem Hunt role, I think, to Javante this year, where he's going to come in, he's going to spell, he's going to end up with some points right around 10, I'm hoping, every week. And that's all I could ask out of a bench running back drafting here, I believe, in the 10th round. So I love that pick. And now I'm right back on the clock again. Probably looking receiver here again. Again, few guys here. You got guys. This is the range of like the Christian Kirk, Michael Gallup, Jameson
Still good.
Williams, who I'm really high on, who I did take in the last draft we had. So I like a little bit of diversity here. I want to switch it up. I want to go with my boy, and I'm going to go with Michael Gallup. Um, Obviously, I hope he comes into the season fresh. That's something you got to keep an eye on with news surrounding the camp and stuff like that. Make sure he's healthy and ready to go. But I like the upside he has. I think it could be a big year for him in Dallas.
Nice. I like both those picks. I'm actually gonna go full on strategy here, pretend like this isn't real, and I'm going to pick Alexander Madison up just for the handcuff. I think I don't want to say it's a lot because that's kind of mean and not right to say that Dalvin Cook usually gets hurt, but there in the previous seasons he's had times where he's been out for several weeks. So I like to have Madison there just to have that upside when he does get that chance to play a game. That's an RB1 like top five right there. So um, yeah, I like Alexander Madison for that pick alone. James Robinson won too. That's a computer.
Yep. Looks like all the handcuffs. Oh, there you go. Ronald Jones, Spiller, Pierce, who may even be a starter. This is kind of that handcuff running back territory right now, where you're either going to get your own or you're going to rob someone else. Um,
I,
and
no, I
Kyle
agree.
goes ahead and takes MVS. I really love me some MVS this year. Man, that's a solid pick, Kyle. I like that one there.
What do you think? Do you think that offense is going to produce the same as last year? I mean, that's the biggest wild card, especially with Tyreek Hill gone. You know, he was a
Yeah,
big portion of that offense.
I
It's like 12
dude,
games.
and you know that's a hard question. Surrounding the news from camp, if you keep up with what Andy Reid saying, just the energy around the team is they still want to be an explosive big play team. And if there's going to be someone to do it, it's going to be MBS. I believe that Juju's going to handle everything underneath, and they may even try to get him to stretch the field at some points. You're going to have Travis Kelce over the middle, and I think it's really going to be MVS stretching that offense out. So I don't think we're going to see as many big plays this year, but I believe that if anything, their offense is going to be on the field a lot more this year, and I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for them to score some fantasy points. So I'm not really scared of the Chiefs offense there, but
I'll let you make your pick, and then I'll ask you another follow up question.
yeah, absolutely. So let's see here. We are rocking with four receivers, four running backs, quarterback, tight end. I basically got everything I need at this point. This is where I'd start looking for some depth. Um, very, very interesting. I'm going to
A lot of
go
good wide
with a
receivers.
handcuff, like I had mentioned, and that's going to be Rashad White. Um, I absolutely love Rashad White coming in as a rookie. I think he's super talented, and I think he fell in a great spot with a team that's going to have Brady leaving after this year. Fournette did sign a contract, but as I've been saying, if you've been watching every video, I really think Fournette's not staying after Brady leaves. I don't think he's going to want to stay on that team because I believe a huge tank is coming and rebuild is coming for that team. So we'll see here. I love the rookie. I love what he could do. Let's hope it's a great spot. And I'm going to make this next pick really quick here. I already had this guy in mind. Let me make sure I don't have anybody else on his team before I do that again, or a sleeper does that again. Okay, we're we're looking good here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take Tim Patrick. I love him as well. I
Are
think
you
he's great
kidding me?
value.
That's three people now, dude.
What are we
That's
talking
three
about?
people.
That
You
I've
just took
robbed?
my guy. Yeah, you took my guy again, bro.
Well, to be fair, you do have Jerry Judy, so I
I
might
mean,
have.
whatever. Go ahead. Do your thing. Go ahead.
All right, on the clock, Dante. You got 2 picks left here. Obviously, looking for some depth here. Who are you looking at here?
I'm looking at wide receiver, and I'm surprisingly looking at the Patriots after just talking about how they run the ball so much. But it's between Jacoby Myers and Devontae Parker, and I'm not
Mm,
sure who to go between the two because they're kind of the same at the end of the day. I mean, Jacoby Myers has been the number one for a couple of years now, but Devontae Parker, in terms of ability, can produce the same. So I'm not sure who to necessarily lean on. But I'm just gonna flip a coin here and go Jacoby. I think Jacoby, just because he's been in that system, he knows it longer. He's used to it. He has that rapport with Mac Jones already, so I feel comfortable picking him over Devontae at this point.
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's really hard too because everybody thought with the signing of those 2 tight ends in New England last year that those tight ends would have saw all the touchdowns, and that really wasn't the case at all. It still was with the run game. Obviously, Jacoby got his first touchdown of his career last year. So hopefully it just goes up from there. But yeah, Devontae Parker, I'm not sure how he's going to fit into this offense. They are trying to quote unquote focal point him, but we all know that the Patriots offense goes through the run game. So that's kind of a see it to believe it type of situation. Jacoby's definitely the safe play there. And last pick now, Dante. What are we thinking here?
I'm gonna go quarterback just to have that option when there's a bye for Lamar, and I am going to take Danny Dimes, baby, just for that rushing
Um,
upside. And obviously, there's a little bit of bias there since I'm a Giants fan, but I do think that that offense has potential uh, to vastly improve this season, given the changes that we've made. So, and it's contract year, so he's just going to try the hardest, this year. So I feel
yeah,
comfortable with that.
yeah, I love him too. I have him in a few dynasty spots as well. I still believe in him. Obviously, it's coming down to his last year here to prove himself, but new coach, new system, and frankly, you still have that NFC East division that is not the strongest. So, I mean, he's got the opportunity. Um,
I think they also have they've the over the past couple of years they've had like one of the worst schedules when going into this season, and I believe this
right.
season is the first year where they have one of the easier schedules of any team in the league. So I would expect them to produce, early this year as opposed to last year.
Exactly right. Yeah, and obviously those divisional games will help as well. He's seen those teams how many years in a row now. For the most part, not much has changed on the defensive side of these teams. I would say the Eagles more so. But yeah, he should definitely have a feel for everything this year. He should be more comfortable. Um, I'm actually going to go with my backup QB as well, and that's going to be Matty Ryan out of Indianapolis there. We've all talked about him a lot. I just think with that play action run game, it should really make things easier for him. He's the quarterback in the NFL that in my opinion, picks who he's going to throw to before the snap, and he makes it happen. He did it in Atlanta his whole career. He fed Julio Jones numbers. He fed Calvin Ridley numbers. I think with Michael Pittman and those guys down there this year, he can make some noise. So backup QB, and that concludes our draft there. We didn't do a full draft. Obviously, you're going to have defenses involved. You're going to get those backup to backup to backup guys. But yeah, this is probably the bulk to where you definitely have to pay attention, and there's definitely some good value in those last 3 rounds here. So I think we covered everything. Beautiful strategies, man. I'm looking at our strategies. I went wide receiver first and then followed it up with a running back quarterback. I kind of played a more even strategy.
Your
Dante,
first five
absolutely
picks are
beautiful.
amazing, honestly. Like with Justin Jefferson, I think he could easily be wide receiver one this year. Aaron Jones is the same thing if he's healthy and stays productive. And Justin Herbert, I again could be like it's people are projecting he's going to be the number one because he has those options. So that first three alone, like that was a really good those really good picks.
Yeah, and right back at you. You went Kelsey, Andrews, and Fournette, and that's a beautiful pair. Fournette being your RB there, PPR running back at that, and those two wide receivers. I mean, that's just beautiful to know that you're constantly going to have the tight end one, as well as maybe the best flex in the entire league, or most consistent flex out of anybody in this league. You look at my team, for instance, my flex on my team most likely is going to be Damian Harris, Melvin Gordon, or Michael Gallup. You look at Kyle's team. Kyle's team is a little bit different because he went receiver heavy, so his flex is going to be one of those earlier receivers, such as Jalen Waddle. But nobody would ever tell you that they would prefer Waddle or a guy like Melvin Gordon over Mark Andrews. So like that's just a beautiful strategy to look at. It's something that not a lot of people do look at. And then followed it up. You followed it up with a quarterback. You got some solid receivers later in the draft. And that's the way to go. I think if you're gonna avoid anything early, it's best to avoid wide receivers. There are so many good wide receivers later in the draft that you could take that are going to give you the same value as the guys going from rounds 3 to 5. So I think it's beautiful. I think you nailed them. And then you look at Kyle's. Kyle went with the hero running back strategy, 4 receivers in a row there. Very strong receivers, very highly talked about receivers going into the year in terms of hype, I would say, and then gets the most consistent fantasy quarterback there is out there. So, yeah, he's in the same boat. I would say Kyle's boat's going to be a little bit rougher going into the season with that team specifically, just because, God forbid, something does happen to JT. His running back situation is not looking fantastic. But on the other hand, that's why you do it, and that's why he took 3 in a row to make sure that he did get that backup just in case. So, yeah, I love it. 3 different strategies here, dude. I absolutely love what we did. Do you have any closing comments on what we got going on here?
No, I would just say that my strategy also is indicative on like trades as well. Like I don't know if I would feel comfortable like with this roster for the remaining of the year. I would kind of expect that there would be obvious thing. There's obviously there's things that happen down the season, down the line. Players get hurt, and that's when your assets become more valuable. So like it's if I were to actually go with this strategy for real, I would probably expect to move either Travis Kelsey or Mark Andrews down the line, just to either fill in that running back spot in case Kareem Hunt gets hurt or Leonard Fournette, which is totally feasible, or to amplify that wide receiver core.
Yeah, no, that's so perfect too. You have the power to basically take a tight end one or tight end two and flip it for whatever you need to get you through the playoffs and onto the Super Bowl. And that's the best. That's the best thing when you go into weeks like 11, 12 in fantasy, and you got a guy that is highly asked for around the league that everybody wants, and you're looking at schedules. You're looking at, the running back on his team plays the worst team in the league week 14, 15, 16. It kind of gives you that power to play with, and that's something that's very, very underrated. It's very similar as well if you look at Team 10 that drafted right after me. Obviously, tight ends are a more scarce position, but Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, he's got his 1-2, and most likely he can go the whole year with just those guys. But realistically, he'll probably trade one and get the running back that he waited 4 rounds for. So it's kind of all about that need. Trading is such a huge part of fantasy. So, yeah, I absolutely love it. Kyle as well, with all those receivers, he could easily take one of them after maybe the first 5 weeks, say all 4 of them are in the top 20. He could easily take one of them and get a top 20 running back. So beautiful, beautiful stuff here. I absolutely love what we did. Dante, let our good people know what's going on with Underdog this year, man.
Ooh, let the dogs out. Woo, 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 woo. That was corny as hell. Oh my god, I'm not doing that again. So yeah, underdog. Use so all right. Let me just refresh. Underdog. If you want to place any bets and not use FanDuel or any of those other platforms, maybe you got kicked out because you're just doing too much, and you want to feed that gambling addiction even more. I would advise you to do underdog and use our first seed code to get up to 100%, $100 um, reinvested back into your account through underdog. Right now they have PGA, NFL. I have Best Ball Mania that I'm into. $25 entry, you can win up to 10 million in prizes. Um, so yeah, I would advise getting into underdog right away. This is the perfect time to do it, to do any like mock drafts before the season starts. And yeah, it's brought to you by Underdog.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely love that. If I didn't already use mine, I would have deposited that $100, got $100 back, and put it all in those best ball leagues. So, man, I want to be a millionaire. That's the goal here. So, yeah, beautiful, man. Use code first seed. And thank you for tuning in. That'll be all for me and Dante today. And we'll see you next time.
Peace, guys.